The retail crowd is blindly throwing capital at chip manufacturers, operating under the total illusion that hardware is the ultimate endgame. The reality? A $1.5 trillion infrastructure build-out is merely the underlying cost of goods sold for the greatest wealth transfer in enterprise history, happening entirely at the software layer. Welcome to the valuation blueprint of the 2026 autonomous SaaS era. Today, we're not just looking at a value chain. We are mapping the exact pipeline of how raw compute is transformed into 85% gross margins, outcome-based pricing, and massive compound earnings growth. Let's pinpoint exactly where Wall Street's smart money is quietly accumulating. A complete AI value chain operates like a colossal data refinery, and every stage dictates the success of the next. At the foundation, NVIDIA GPU clusters and cloud providers like AWS act as the raw nuclear reactors fueling foundation models. However, as we will explore shortly with inference economics, this commoditized intelligence is practically worthless without a strategic memory layer. Vector databases like Pinecone and frameworks like LangChain are the critical catalyst transforming generic AI into specialized experts, a mechanism that ultimately slashes enterprise operational costs by 90%. This data stream is then wired together by orchestrators like Zapier, forging complex automated workflows. To push this into corporate production and bridge the fatal last-mile customization gap, consultancies like Deloitte route solutions through integration hubs like MuleSoft directly into the application network. Here, we witness the rise of the control towers, ServiceNow governing IT, SAP optimizing supply chains, and Salesforce monopolizing customer relationships. This entire architecture converges on one singular financial choke point that will redefine software economics: the absolute death of seat-based licensing, surrendering to agentic commerce, where transactions execute instantaneously based purely on generated outcomes. This pivotal shift from selling software to selling concrete outcomes is detonating a total addressable market expansion from $8.5 billion to $45 billion. Recent survey data indicates that 74% of major corporations have now mandated autonomous AI deployment within the next 2 years. We are witnessing a monumental technological leap, crossing the chasm from passive copilots requiring human prompts straight to autopilots. Entire agentic teams now deploy step-by-step reasoning to autonomously connect, fracture complex problems, and ruthlessly optimize operational costs. This dynamic completely obliterates legacy pricing structures. Instead of charging monthly recurring revenue for an idle seat, software vendors are executing outcome-based pricing, charging, for instance, less than $1 only when a customer support ticket is fully resolved. The ultimate consequence is a virtual workforce actively displacing humans in highly specialized roles. They are auditing millions of lines of code, patching security vulnerabilities thousands of times faster, and delivering legal and accounting resolutions with near-zero latency. Fueling this virtual workforce is an influx of extreme capital expenditure. Big tech is locked in a $1.5 trillion arms race, compounding at a 23% annual growth rate. The spending architecture is shifting violently from model training to continuous inference operations, with 60% of budgets being sucked directly into core compute allocation. This infrastructure explosion creates a phenomenal economic leverage point for SaaS companies, as the price per million tokens collapses by 75%, dropping from $5 to just over $1. Gross margins for software vendors are violently breaking out toward the 85% threshold. However, the most brutal growth constraints are now entirely physical. Massive liquid cooling demands and severe power constraints are aggressively choking data centers. To bypass this severe bottleneck, smart money is rotating heavily into small language models like Llama 4 Scout and Gemma 4. These models operate independently at the network edge, delivering specialized enterprise processing at a fraction of the cost, while guaranteeing absolute security for proprietary corporate data. Injecting AI into the core of banking or healthcare systems requires a ruthless risk elimination strategy. Stuffing millions of context tokens into a massive model is an exercise in economic cash burn. The only viable financial solution is memory tiering via retrieval-augmented generation. This architecture slashes operational costs by 80 to 90% while completely eradicating AI hallucinations by anchoring every response to absolute ground truth. At the execution level, a single prompt yields a dismal 45% success rate, highly susceptible to chain reaction errors. But by transitioning to multi-agent systems, where specialized subagents autonomously cross-validate and self-correct, the success rate violently spikes past 85%. This autonomous engine runs across an ecosystem of over 8,000 API connections, maintaining sub-200 millisecond execution latency. This transforms strategic decisions that once consumed hours of operational overhead into instantaneous, human-free transactions. Yet, superior technology is meaningless if it cannot scale into production. Global strategic alliances are now pushing pilot to production success rates to 54% within a strict 6-month window. The life or death choke point for the entire software industry lies in the 40% customization gap, the last mile. This is the exact zone where generic artificial intelligence utterly fails against the rigorous domain-specific constraints of the medical and legal sectors. The key to breaking this deadlock is the connectivity layer. Decades-old, isolated data silos are being actively dismantled and converted into event-driven pipelines. Major integration hubs are projected to manage over 75,000 concurrently active AI agents by the first quarter of 2026. Every triggered action is analyzed in real time and locked down by strict, role-based access controls, guaranteeing that AI agents never exceed their authorized human permissions. Now, follow the heaviest volume of enterprise cash flow. The human capital, enterprise resource planning, and customer relationship management sectors are compounding at double digits, barreling towards staggering valuations. CRM hitting $158 billion and ERP reaching $123 billion. The incumbents, Salesforce commanding 21% of the market, SAP holding 16.4%, and Workday controlling 9.8%, are establishing absolute data monopolies. Hardwiring autonomous agents directly into these systemic backbones creates a brutal switching cost moat. Clients simply cannot leave. No Fortune 500 executive will risk ripping out a perfectly functioning payroll or core supply chain system just to test a novel AI wrapper. These behemoths will continue to extract massive enterprise cash flow through sheer, unadulterated pricing power. Moving beyond those three massive pillars, the specialized niche software layer is accelerating with performance metrics that defy historical baselines. In IT management, ServiceNow's self-healing networks are constructing massive knowledge graphs. They autonomously deploy API patches before a critical failure even registers, saving millions of hours in manual operational logging. Within the project management space, systems like Monday and Asana have fully transitioned to predictive capacity planning. AI teammates run silently for 14 hours a day to automatically recalculate critical paths and balance staff workloads based on holiday schedules. Real-world implementation has documented 75% reduction in manual review times, compressing 2-hour status meetings down to 30 minutes. The most aggressive shift is happening in the enterprise immune system. Cybersecurity has entirely abandoned static detection. Platforms like CrowdStrike are executing behavioral threat hunting, resolving alerts 3 times faster and processing over 30,000 threats a month with 0 false positives. In legal technology, Harvey AI leverages deep legal reasoning, bypassing simple keyword matching, to crush complex contract review cycles from weeks down to mere hours. When we filter the market through the lens of economic moats and AI execution, Wall Street's playbook shift from chasing raw growth to hunting structural monopolies. Look at the enterprise backbone. Salesforce, ServiceNow, SAP, and Workday aren't just software companies. They're the central nervous system of global business. Their true valuation isn't captured in earnings multiples, but in their brutal switching costs. Ripping out a core IT, HR, or supply chain system is operational suicide for a Fortune 500 company. allowing these incumbents to extract permanent pricing power. In the data and security layers, we are witnessing a winner-take-all consolidation. Palantir is bypassing traditional enterprise sales cycles entirely with AIP bootcamps, weaponizing its government-grade security clearance. Meanwhile, CrowdStrike and Palo Alto Networks are forcing massive vendor consolidation. They are leveraging global threat data and network effects to replace fragmented point solutions with unified, autonomous immune systems. Oracle perfectly anchors the defensive database infrastructure on this page. But as we transition to the next execution tier, we find platforms like Shopify, which has evolved far beyond a simple storefront into an autonomous commerce operating system, deeply embedded in merchant logistics and payments. Further down, the smart money is quietly hoarding impenetrable vertical monopolies. Veeva holds the absolute regulatory standard for pharmaceutical clinical trials. Intuit monopolizes complex tax codes, while Procore owns the physical contractor network in construction. These are mission-critical regulatory moats where generalized AI models simply cannot compete. Whether it is capturing developer mindshare with MongoDB or monopolizing the inbound marketing ecosystem with HubSpot, the ultimate survival rule is clear: do not buy the artificial intelligence hype. Buy the deeply entrenched workflows that choke out operational costs and lock in enterprise budgets permanently. Are you playing offense with data gravity or defending with core infrastructure? Drop your thesis in the comments and subscribe to track the smart money. See you next time.